What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Terence Bud Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, and the pound for pound debate. Get this, Terence Crawford claims that he should be higher ranking the best pound for pound fighter over Canelo Alvarez if he can beat Sean Porter. Um, I think that Terence Crawford is the best, or if not the best, fighter on the planet. Okay, he's had problems getting welterweight fights. You know, the politics with the PBC and all that. But hey, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. He has the fight. I believe it's November 20th. Fighting against Sean Porter, a tough, rugged, hard-hitting, two-time welterweight champion, Sean Showtime Porter. And he states that he should be top pound for pound. Well, let me counterpunch over Canelo Alvarez. I have to agree with Terence Crawford basically because of this reason, right? If he beats Sean Porter, and you take Sean Porter, a guy, probably the last guy that beat Alexander Usyk, right, in the amateurs. If you look at him and his resume versus Billy Joe Saunders and his resume, okay, then that's where you could draw the line, because you think about it. When did Canelo Alvarez come into the pound top five? Think about it. Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Rocky Fielding, Sergey Kovalev. You have to think about that. Danny Jacobs, which was a good fight. Okay, so he stringed together a lot of good fights, a lot of very good fights. His resume speaks for itself, and everywhere from Floyd Mayweather to Sugar Shane Mosley to Erislandy Lara, you know, to Gennady Golovkin twice, you know, and it goes on and on. Now, if you wanted to compare resumes, Canelo has Terence Crawford. However, if you want to compare pound for pound, I think if he beats Sean Porter, mind you, I think he should be number one. Him number one, and Usyk and Canelo tying for number two. Okay, depends on what they've done. But I think Anthony Joshua beating him is a far better task than him beating Billy Joe. Okay, you know what I mean? So I think they've either tied based on what they do next. If Alexander Usyk beats Joshua again, he should be number two or arguably number one. Well, Canelo fighting Billy Joe doesn't cut it. Okay, it doesn't. Does it make him a very good fighter? Yes, he's a very good fighter. That's why he's there. That's why we're having this conversation. But the underlining factor between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez is Terence Crawford has 0 losses and 0 draws. Okay, that's the main difference. Terence Crawford is like Mayweather. He's never lost. He's never had a draw. He's never been into that defeated derrota. Right? He's never had those. All right. So that's the difference between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. And if he beats Sean Porter, a guy that's never been stopped, and if he did take a loss, which he has a few times, he's gave those fighters hell, and it was this close for it going his direction. Okay. And I think the Errol Spence fight, the knockdown was the deciding factor of that fight, you know, that caused him the loss. But, you know, even after he got up, he was like, let's go, you know, and then it was like, whoa, okay. So I think at the end of the day, I think Terence Crawford has that one up on Canelo. Is, you know, I know Canelo's been in there with like some of the best, but he's been beaten by the best. He's had controversial decisions. When have you had Terence Crawford to have any of that shit? Terence Crawford beats you or takes you out of the game. There is no, hey man, you think Terence really won that fight? Do you really think he won that fight? Do you really? You don't hear those type of conversations because Terence Crawford leaves you no room to have those conversations. Okay? Lomachenko's out. I think Canelo Alvarez is one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world. But if we had to draw straws, it would have to be Terence Crawford, due to the fact that he, through his career going from weight class to weight class to weight class, has never got that ass beat. Bars. So I think that's the defining factor. A lot of people will disagree. Oh, Canelo, he's fought more. Yes, he's fought more. He's fought Mayweather. He's fought Triple G. But look, the first Triple G fight was a draw. Okay, that's his second draw. Okay, and he took a L from Mayweather. Possibly he could have took another L from Lada. That was scorecard crazed, right? That didn't really make sense. Somebody had him winning 9 rounds to 3. So he's had controversial fights where what does that merit him? Yes, he has the resume, but then if people thought he's lost some fights, that pound for pound could be debated. But since he's got past 160, he's kicked every ass up there, and he's done it in dynamic fashion, okay? But again, the guys that he fought in the lower weight classes were much more skilled than I think the fighters that he's been beating up today, okay? I think Lotto would have beat Danny Jacobs just because of the style. I think Mayweather, you know what I mean? Mayweather and Billy Joe, come on. Think about what I'm saying. Okay, Sergey Kovalev, yes, he did that, but like those weren't the feared guys. He wasn't the feared guy at the weight class. Okay, so Sean Porter would be. That's if he gets past Sean Porter, because Sean Porter, again, is one tough customer. But if he does that, I think he should take that seat at number 1. And honestly, I think it's basically with Canelo, Terence Crawford, and now Usyk. It's all about what you've done lately. Okay, so let's say Canelo beats Caleb Plant. Then boom, then there'll be another debate. It'll be another question. Hey, will he be best pound for pound? He's done more in the sport, has he? Well, so is Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford then wiped out 140, a whole division, just like Josh Taylor's done, but he did it before Josh Taylor. Okay? He has 2 Ring Magazine belts. So he's just as highly decorated as Canelo Alvarez, but he hasn't taken a draw and he hasn't taken a loss. That's the difference. You guys tell me what you think about Terence Crawford stating his claim as number 1 pound for pound. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.